Hi everyone, I'm Allie with Potomac Beads. Join me in making these lovely lilac earrings. Whether or not you want to make them as earrings or a necklace or a component for a bracelet, have fun creating with the Eva as well as the new Tubelet bead. Keep in mind, if you need any of the materials to gather up, you can search below me in the description for the links to purchase from us online at PotomacBeads.com as well as PotomacBeads.eu. So we're going to begin our earrings by facing all of the Eva beads in towards one another. And to face them in towards one another, we are going to be having basically point in. I have 0.006 wildfire beading thread in the green color, and I have a stop bead on the bottom of about 3 feet of beading thread. I'm going to pick up my first Eva bead through the point side, coming out towards the open side. When you're out towards the open side in this first layer of 4, you're going to add in 2 8/0 seed beads. I have the Crystal Lab Fool in the first Eva bead, and then the 8/0 is the Duracoat Galvanized Gold in the Miyuki brand. The next Eva is going to sit directly next to the first one, again starting with that needle going in through the bottom hole and coming out towards the top opening. Add 2 more of your 8/0 seed beads, and on again. So you're repeating this an additional 2 more times to get a total of 4 Eva beads. You can see how they'll kind of sit every other until we go in and actually round it out, so that way they're sitting with the points all towards the inside. So I have 3 on, I'll do 1 more. You can also see that it's a fun design just to do if you want to do a whole bracelet like this, where they actually zigzag back and forth. And if you want to, you could use your tubelets to kind of grab along the edge to make a nice simple wrap bracelet to go along with your earrings. As I add in my last 2 beads here, I'm going to go through the Eva bead, the Eva bead rather, and then we're going to kind of round it out. So we're going to face them all towards the interior. See how I can kind of face them all in. And I'm going to take my thread and needle back through that first hole and out through that first Eva bead, starting towards the point end and coming out towards the opening. Make sure your thread doesn't kind of get twisted or tangled anywhere. And if you can, try to pull that stop bead back a little bit, so that way your Evas do sit right and nice together. From here, go ahead and go through the 2 8/0 seed beads, and we're going to pop out and add our 4 tubelet beads. The tubelets, if you haven't used them yet, they are 2.8 by 6 millimeter. You're going to pick up 1 of your 15/0 seed beads, a couple down here, 1 tubelet, 1 15/0, and then we're going to sew back through those 2 beads that the thread is coming out of. What that's going to do is put those 3 beads, the tubelet with the 15/0s, kind of right on top of those beads. And we're going to give a tight pull so you don't see lots of extra thread. From here, you're going to move on to the next one and do the same thing. So you're going to take your thread and needle back through the Eva beads, down towards the middle, then up towards the 8/0s. You can see I'm kind of bending the Evas kind of backward to try to get my needle in there. When you're out the Eva bead, go through your first 2 8s, add the 15, tubelet, 15, back through the 8s. Give a tight pull and let that kind of sit right on top of there. I'm going to repeat this 2 more times because I am doing this series of 4, so it's going to be a repeat basically in this stitch. Just kind of push that stop bead out of the way, or that stop starter thread. Again through the 2 8s. Out we come, adding a 15, tubelet, 15. And the 15 I'm using is the Miyuki Duracoat Galvanized Silver, and the tubelet that I'm using is the Aztec Gold color. I love the mix of the metals, and I think it'll really pop with my purple color. Coming out then, we're going to add our last of our tubelet beads. Going through those 2 8s. And you can see how the tubelets are kind of sitting off to the side. Don't worry, because as we go back around, we are going to straighten them out. Once you're done here, you're going to step out basically from the Eva beads to the actual tubelets. So we're going to go through the 15 and out, and then I want you also to go through the tubelet and out. And that's gonna get us to that outer layer where we're gonna go in and add our second row of our Eva beads and our second kind of joining in with those Evas in between the tubelets. So we're gonna go around now and add in a second row of our Eva beads. And I have 11 O's that are gonna sit basically coming out between those. And we're gonna repeat with those two 8 O's. So you want a couple 8 O's, and you're gonna pick up first an 11 when you're coming out of the tubelet. Just like we did before, we're going through another Eva bead from the point coming out towards the opening. Again, same thing as the first row, add 2 8s back into the Eva. Give a nice tight pull to get it a little bit closer to the design. Add in another one of your 11 O seed beads and go through the tubelet. Super simple, fits in kind of nice and just a exact kind of point. Add another 11, another Eva bead, 2 more 8s, down through the Eva, add another 11, and through the tubelet. So you can see I've done this 2 times. It sits exactly with no thread showing, which is awesome. Go ahead and do it 2 more times to get that full design before we add in a little bit of color. So adding in the final one of my Eva beads, I'm gonna go through my tubelet and then through the 11O and out that corner Eva bead. When you give a nice little tight pull and kind of stretch everything down, you can see that exact fit and that symmetry. That is great. You can see you can use this if you want as a component that you could keep building, do a bracelet, do it as a pendant or a necklace, or continue on like we're doing here with that set of earrings. So at this point, if you want to, you could stop. You can go back and kind of add your little crystals to the point, or even keep in mind that it would look nice with different beads along the outer edges too. After you come through and add in your last beads here, you're gonna take your thread and needle so that it's coming out of one of the 8O seed beads. On the thread and needle, you can change up what you wanna add. If you want to, you can add a tassel. That would look really nice at the bottom. You can keep it simple and just finish it up, knot and bring the thread around. That's up to you. I'm adding in 3 15-Os, one of my faceted briolets, and this is the Potomac briolet in the Alexandrite in the 6x12 millimeter. It's followed by 3 more 15s, and then I'm going to take the thread and needle back through the second 8O. So the 8Os are going to sit kind of spread out, almost in a herringbone style, or that V. I'm just going to make sure that my crystal sits nice and in the middle, hanging down there, just that kind of pop of color. From here, I'm going to go through to the next set of 8Os along the exterior, going through the Eva bead, through the 11s, tubelet, 11, till I get again to the interior of that Eva bead. And once I get to the interior of the Eva bead, I'm going to separate out those 8Os. And on the sides, if you want to, you can put a little bit of color. That's up to you. I'm gonna just put in one 11O seed bead, just to create a nice little point on the side, and then go back into the design, getting to the next portion of my 8Os. So you can see that just kind of puts that nice little point on the end. If you wanted to and have it keep it kind of rounded out, you can do that as well too by just stringing right through the beads. And this also helps to kind of reinforce that outer loop. Taking the thread and needle then, I'm coming right out towards the top. When I come out to the top, again, just like we've been doing, kind of separate those 8Os so they're sitting in that V style. And here it's up to you what you want to grab and add. So if you want to, you can use your wire guard right away. You can connect to that wire guard, which I'm going to do. This is a Potomac Crystal Link because I want that purple color at the top as well. So I have a wire guard here in silver, which I'm gonna add right after the 8Os. The wire guard is great to kind of connect to jump rings or split rings or even links, like if you want to here. I'm gonna go up through the wire guard, right coming out again after that 8O, have my link go onto that wire guard, sew through the link, bottom hole, sew through the wire guard, and down through the other 8O seed bead, making sure my thread kind of stays in that wire guard and that it faces there. So I'm gonna actually pinch the wire guard because I want the wire guard to sit facing to the side so that way my link sits correctly. So I'm gonna kind of pinch this here, give a nice tight pull, and have that link so it sits connecting to the ear. Once I have that, then I'm gonna come down the other side, back over to finish up the design in this simple earring here, adding in my last 11/0 between my 2/8 there, and then tying off my thread. The last thing I need to do then is just take a ear wire, put it onto the top of that Potomac crystal link, which again, that was in the disc, the 14 by 8 millimeter in the violet color. If you would need materials, you can always look below the video. In the description of the video has the exact link to all of the products online, as well as listed colors that you can check out. Coming down the other side then, I'm gonna go through the Eva after the 8. And when you get to the tubelet, that's going to be your opportunity to kind of step down towards the interior of the design and tie off the threads. So I'm stepping into the tubelet there. I'm going to reverse the thread through the 15, the 8, and then making sure you're not catching on to anything, kind of bring that thread down, go into the Eva bead right here, into that first hole, bring the thread out, and then I'm going to poke the needle towards the back of the project just to see kind of where those threads are hanging out. And it so happens that they're right next to one another, which is kind of perfect. I don't have to do anything else. Pull that stop bead out of the way, tie these 2 thread ends together, and you are complete. So if I was doing this without the camera kind of focusing, I would use white thread, just for your reference, so that way it blends in a little bit better with the silver. But the white's a little bit hard to see on camera. Give a nice tight pull. I'll take the thread that still is on my needle and go back through another one of the Eva beads, so that way I can separate the thread ends a little bit, burn down the thread ends, one towards that middle, one towards the side with my thread burner, and be finished with that design. Stick an ear wire on and your earring is good to go. Thanks so much for watching the Lovely Lilac Earrings. Remember, you can really kind of make it your own. You can do it as a pendant, you can do it as a set of earrings, stop before adding the crystals, or keep going and expand it even more. If you need any of the materials, remember again, we have the links below me in the description, or that 3 little bar drop-down menu to get those links to purchase from us online at PotomacBeads.com, as well as PotomacBeads.eu. As always, if you want to, you can give a little thumbs up, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and get regular updates from us when we go live, when we have new ideas, new products to spotlight, as well as new Better Beater episodes. As always, thanks so much for watching and enjoy these nice, simple, lovely lilac earrings.